Oh, hello, hello, Andrew here for Cat Skull Gaming, and it's time for the weekly Dev Diary. That's right, we are back. Well, last week was cut short because I had to go into work. Being on call sucks, but hey, what are you gonna do? So yeah, let's just jump right into it. We are working. We're making moves. It is you can tell, cold season, cold times. Get that guy out of there. Cold times up here in Maine, and I'm starting to bundle up. But it also means it's also sick time, and Dayton has been feeling under the weather. We haven't had our meeting this week. Going to do that on Sunday, and Jim's going to be back, which will be nice. So we'll be getting him caught up and just going over what we've gotten done, which will be very interesting. And so, what have I been up to this week working on the game? Um, a little bit of art stuff. I guess, where's the blender? So, I worked on some new dice faces, working on this style to this like flat paper, flat planal kind of style. Trying to just see if there's something there. So, doing a couple different designs, playing around with some imagery and some ideas, trying to set it up and see like, how does this work? And then doing it in Blender is good. It's a really interesting way to create things, but because this has to live in Godot, I don't know if it's right until I actually put it into Godot. And so, um, put it into Godot. I just got this done today to see kind of how it looks on the dice face, and it's interesting. I also made this 3D scene in the background for everything to live in. And so it's got 3D scenes. I set up some cameras. And today, actually, such an idiot, I finally understand what a tool script does. So I went to make a little rotation for that dice, and I just used the docs transform basis code, whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah, tool does something, right? And I just plugged it in, and booyah, booyah. It just works in the editor now. So if you need to see something in editor and you don't want to run the game constantly, just put it in a tool script. So it's pretty interesting. And it lets me kind of fully see how that's all going to look. Once Dayton gets the code done for the inventory, I'll get that hooked up so we can start grabbing the faces and swapping them out. And then ultimately, the idea will be that the little cubes over here will also be the dice that you have in your inventory, and you'll see things kind of like zip back and forth. But that's been about it. It's been a lot of work in Blender, rendering things out, and then seeing what it looks like. So here's just, two different tests on the same dice face, just playing with them, moving things around, really just messing with the mesh a little bit. And they have, this kind of thing's kind of interesting, but I got to drop it into the Godot to see how it looks. So we'll see. But that's pretty much been my week. It's just art tests and thinking art wise and kind of focusing more on the visual style and what that actually means for our game. So that's what I've been working on. I've also been thinking and focusing on porting everything from a kind of one-to-one idea of like what are we making to what Balatro did, since we are all coming at this with no experience. Being able to have that as a guide to help us scope things, and also have a known enjoyable game play loop to follow. should hopefully help us out in the long run to create a good, high quality game. So I've been just kind of going through and trying to make a one-for-one inference for what we're doing to what Balatro does as far as mechanics are concerned. And that's been really fun. Uh, just really diving into like, all right, we're using dice. So if dice, then changing the dice faces like the jokers, then how does that work mechanically with how we're adding everything up and getting to our score number? Well, this is slightly different, but that's okay. Doing things like that. And yeah, I think that's it. Like, I feel like I did a lot more and I felt like I had done a lot more. I mean, it's a lot of work, but the output just doesn't seem like that much. But that's, that's art. You do a bunch of stuff to get to a product and it might look simple, but it takes that effort to get to the end product. Yeah. That's it for me. That's it. Thanks for checking the thing out. We're gonna keep working on the game, keep doing the dev diary. At some point, once we have like a demo and a vertical slice, have like a fully realized piece of something, we'll put out like a full on like devlog, and we'll put out other videos. I know Jim said he's editing the Quiet Year video that we made, which is, I'm really interested to see how that turns out, because it's the progenitor for kind of the world and story. So seeing how we can use that to, help spread the word of what we're doing. Kind of to see how that strategy works. But other than that, that's it for me. Thanks y'all for checking it out. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. And yeah, I'll see you later. Bye.